Yo, what's up, Exile? Klaus is here. Today I want to talk with you guys about two particular builds that I had in mind for the upcoming 3.26 league. So let's get straight to the point. First of all, the quick introduction about me. My name is Klaus. You can call me Klaus. I've played PoE since Necropolis, and then was my second league, my third league, and my fourth league. As we all know, Settler is never ending, or so we thought. Thanks God, it's finally ending. And then this 3.26 Tartarus Challenge League will be my third league and my second league start, because I joined late on the Necropolis and Settler was my first league start. Okay, next point, warning, this video is about endgame, not league start viable, alright? Not viable, okay? Capiche? Alright. The whole reason why I make this video in the first place, it's because there's already out there a league start guide, etc. Not many people focus toward the end game, and that's where I came in. Even though yes, I do know that the league start is the one that's going to attract more viewer. But hey, we all have our own role, right? So why not? My initial thoughts when I'm trying to putting up all of these PoB together. First of all, is this depth 6k viable? With some other tinkering, it will be. The potential is there. If the build has a depth 6k potential, usually that build has a good amount of tankiness, and at least triple digit million DPS. That is kind of the baseline required to clear depth 6k deep delve, because deep delve depth 6k is one of the hardest content in PoE 1. And then comes to the next point. Usually a deep delve build, a build that could delve that deep, they're usually clunky, right? Because they're tinkering too much around on the delve node. And then the T17 node, some of them is just pure toxic for most build. That is where my second initial thoughts when I'm putting this PoB together. I'm trying to find best of the both world. A build that could do 6k and not tinkering around too much and still make all-rounder piece. And definition of all-rounder is just so relative. To me, all-rounder is like a T17 Titanic Giga Endgame setup, blah blah blah. That is what I call true all-rounder. But one thing that stuck with me ever since, it's one that I get from Connor Converse. Shout out to one of my left, Connor Converse. He said something like this: a build can have 1 billion DPS, but that build has too many conditional. And then there's another build that deal a lot less DPS, but can handle a lot of the map modifier. I would choose the later version any day of the year without blinking. The more map mod that you could handle is the better the build will be. That is what I'm trying to get, or at the very least trying to achieve. Next point, let's just go straight to the PoB. Is champion the champ of 3.26? Question mark. Is it? Let's go. Let's see here. This is the guy, right? The guy that get buffed in 3.26 so much. The Fortify/Armour stacker setup. Looking good with the replica of Tram Feather. And yup, as you can see the number. Yes, because it has to be CI. I'm trying to do the life base, but I'm just not convinced. You have to mitigate the chaos damage too, and that is too much butter, especially on T17. So I would rather just go CI and ignore about chaos stress entirely. Any chaos damage, who cares? We are CI. This setup, like yeah, you can see one passive, two of them. I mean, like I said in the beginning, this is the Giga Endgame. Even for me myself, one passive is kind of expensive. I might not be able to afford this one, but I'm gonna just put it here, and then so maybe other people could improve and make somewhat into mid-end game viable. But this is just the skeleton. And by the way, this is the unbuffed version. The first, sorry, I said I was gonna talk about two particular builds, and any of the PoB, I will make it available 4 versions of the PoB. Each build has 2 versions. The one that got unbuffed. If you said that this is, oh nah, this damage going to be conditional, no. I like to make my PoBs the baseline. My kind of build is to maxing the minimum, and then once the people actually playing that build, that number could even go higher. Oh, I'm using the animate guardian, not that one. I'm not even using false might because this number is only viable for single target, like bossing. When there's no false might, right? You cannot get false might for mostly in the post-cast bossing scenario, but once you get into mapping, again, those gigantic titanic exile, look, 600 mil. I'm not even pressing my fall haze. 700 mil. But yeah, is that conditional or not? You'll see. You'll see. You can check it out for yourself. All right. Next, I think I already talked about this one. The pro and con. Maybe the pro is about the damage. The con is about my current PoB on this one. The ES number, I'm just not convinced. I want it to be a little higher to at least make it for me to convincing it, playing it, and take it to this level. And then why Smite? Why not Molten Strike? Molten Strike got nerfed, and you have to use Nimis, which means giving up one ring socket. And to also make Molten Strike worthwhile, turns out I'm trying. This from PoB number point of view, by the way, just pure number. And reduce proc is necessary. Reduce proc, and maybe you can get this one additional proc. That is giving up few point. You could maybe get a few bit more, like you'd be hitting 1 billion DPS check with the Molten Strike, but I don't think it's worth it, man. And also, the best part about Smite over Molten Strike is because Smite is instant damage, bro. Molten Strike is projectile. Once the enemy moving, it doesn't hit. So, why Molten Strike? Smite is just best. Alright. Next point. This is the next build. This is the one, and this is the one that I'm going to play. The old man right here. Hashtag Spellcaster League. The Inquisitor. And what build is that? Oh look, no one passive voice. And I forgot to check this one. This is my main skill. I'm using venting. With the incinerate of venting, I could get up to this number. And again, I'm gonna remind you, this is the baseline, the min, and I'll show you the max. Fall haze, boom. Party, do I use party? I'm not using party. Why is this number can go high with the party, and what is this button for? It's because in 3.26 there will be a lot of mechanic, right? There's one particular unique item. I'll link it to the description later on. One particular item that you could use in the merc that could buff a lot of lightning DPS, because that the unique item has something that say damage lucky roll. As we all know, lightning has the highest roll, 1k up to 20k the flat. So yeah, there's that. This is the one that I'm going to play on the endgame setup in the upcoming league. Next point, I'll make a breakdown and more detailed PoB stage by stage tomorrow. Hopefully done tomorrow. 7, 8, next point. Spark potential. This is a spellcaster with the Aura Stacker archetype. Energy Blade Aura Stacker. So maybe with a little bit tinkering around, I could make Spark working and just being one button instead of two button. I do the main skill, the single target DPS with the venting, the Kamehameha skill, and then I clear with the Frostblink of Wintry Blast. And any other flexibility on this archetype of Inquisitor. There are plenty options, to be honest. You could use KBOC with the strength and in stacker setup, because most of the Inquisitor build relied on this one. Righteous Providence. And the idea is just to stack in and strength, and then take this K node right here, K stone right here. Your strength damage applies to all spell damage. So you solve the increased damage, and you solve the crit scaling. It easily crit cap the more you rely toward your strength and in scaling. So there are many other, not many, but there are quite other options if you don't like how the venting work and clear with the Frostblink of Wintry Blast. But that's just problem for another day for me. Maybe this video is already yapping too much. Okay. Special mention for the first build, as we all know, this guy right here, Big Daddy. That's how I get my reference. Shout out to Big Daddy, this armor stacker guy. Most of my reference that I got about armor stacker I learned from him. I myself never played armor stacker before. I'm not quite familiar with the build. But yeah, it's just because it's the buff, that is why I'm putting it on the list here. Second one, special mention and shout out to, once again, Connor Converse, the 1 man left. That is how I get the second build idea, the build that I'm going to play. Once again, last league I play, okay, that's later. Connor Converse. You guys just go check out to this content creator. Just want to put it there, alright? Last but not least, what is this? I forgot about this. What? Why not Zenith? F Zenith? What does that mean? Oh, this character is a Zenith. And how long was it? That's like day 1 settler. Alright. Close out. See you guys soon. Have a good league start and have fun.